Welcome to the Cyber Business Podcast, where we feature top founders and entrepreneurs and share their inspiring stories. Now, let's get started with the show.
Okay. Matthew Connor here, host of the Cyber Business Podcast. Today, we are joined by Vladyslav Podoliako, the founder and CEO of both Belkins and Folderly, along with 12 other companies. Vlad, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Matthew. Pleasure being with you today.
It's a pleasure having you on. Before we get too far in, a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by cyberlinks.com. That's cyberlynx.com. Do you know if a hacker's in your system? Most people and most companies don't until it's too late and a hacker's already done damage. A hacker's job is to bypass your security, so companies need a way of knowing when someone's gotten past their security. That's where CyberLink's intrusion detection comes in. With our 24/7 security operations center, we use a combination of AI and cybersecurity technicians to see when a hacker successfully bypassed your security. So if a bad guy gets past your security, we'll know right away and be able to kick them out. Find out more at cyberlinks.com. That's cyberlynx.com. And now back to our show. Vlad, thanks for coming on again. But for those who aren't familiar, can you tell us about Belkins and Folderly?
Yeah, sure. So I'm founder of, first of all, Belkins. It would be the most mature company here. We're building this company for 8 years. It is basically a B2B acquisition agency. And long story short, we're helping our clients to get more clients. Help them to officially utilize email channel, cold call channel, ads, social, referral, events, roadshows, and everything, and make sure that they driving ROI from these channels. And Folderly, it's basically our first product is email deliverability platform, helping your emails to land to right folder, right inbox. Bypassing spam folders, promotion folders, and to be sure that your email's on top of the game.
Very cool. So would I be right in assuming that Belkins is kind of the center of all of your different companies? Do they all kind of branch off from Belkin as we need this product or service? And you came up with a new idea to help businesses acquire more customers. And so you started a new business from there?
Actually, we're always solving some problems for ourselves, first of all, and for our clients internally. Like the problems with email deliverability appeared when at Belkin scale at 2019, spring, I remember that after Google pushed some update that enhancing Gmail, their infrastructure and everything, that basically don't went through any email that was authentication. And back then I dive deep and understand that there is a whole world of email deliverability, and we're starting to solve this problem across all of our clients at Belkins. And I decided it was a shot to build a product, since our clients at Belkins really wonders how we solve this problem, how email channel works for us at Belkins, and how we're making work email channel for them. So this is how we built Folderly. And yes, Belkins actually, I would say, initiator of ideas and solving problem solution that we're deciding on our end we wanted to build product on top of that problem or no. And it's basically it started 8 years ago. We have chosen our path in MarTech and sales tech, and all products and solutions currently around sales tech or either MarTech. But we do have some products that sort of not related to sales and marketing, like the one from this 14 that I mentioned at the beginning that I have here is GreenSync. This is basically agro tech, and we are basically wanted to utilize AI to help farmers to get their yields and crops in the right manner, to understand that they will get, right ROI from all of their fields under their management, to comparing data between certain periods of time. So that's one of the use cases we found was the AI for farmers. This is how we wanted to escape from sales, tech, and martech because it's a really hard business.
Right. Go right back to farming. Be like, you know what? Enough with the tech. Let's go back to farming.
Yes.
And you brought tech with you. That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I can't help but wonder, I mean, with something like GreenSync, and how do you have, I'm assuming that you have a team of developers who help you, kind of do this, or how you're just, you can't be doing everything as one guy, right? So
I have amazing team that we hired already, I would say already 9 years of Belkins development, building Belkins and all of our products, and building products without developers, it's kind of impossible right now. But with AI, it will change in the future. Maybe in 2-4 years, we all will be in the place that we can build anything with the tools that we have. But still, we need to have some developers. And I have amazing C-level team, like my CPO, CTO, chief operation officer as well, head of sales, head of marketing, that we're building these ventures all together. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to pivot to holding structure, to basically put eggs in the different baskets, like service companies, agencies. We're putting to one branches under the Belkins, and we're building a huge agency that will monopolize acquisition channels with the services. And we have agencies under Belkins and products led by Folderly and others, and sales tech and martech, and plus we're exploring other industries. And the idea of holding to connect founders with investors and with us, having this kind of right network, with the idea that it's better to build companies together, not alone, because you would move quite faster and you will pass certain stages.
I love it. So let me ask you, how do you do it all? I mean, that seems like a lot to, it's one thing when you're the the founder and CEO of a company, that tends to be all consuming, right? Your whole day, all your thoughts, energy goes into one, but you're kind of, you're looking at basically 14 different companies. And how do you manage that?
Good question. I'm glad that I'm looking young for this question, how I like managing this. But in my soul, I'm already aged 60 plus by managing and working with all these people we have, all these products. But I think the bullshit answer would be that it's the perfect time management, or I'm going to gym at 6 a.m. or I don't know. But actually, there's the hard working, and I'm trying to prioritize things that I can have an effect on. If I can do help my sales team at Belkins to be more effective and get to their sales KPIs, I can they can benefit from my time, and we can build something together, or do some team things, or some teamwork tasks together. Or on the product side, if I see that there is currently opportunity at Folderly to build certain feature because we'll conquer N% of market, then I will strongly focus on that. But that's also the great team behind. That's not all about me, and the great team behind on Folderly, on Belkins, GreenSync, and all of our other projects. That's the basically fuel for these companies. Plus, there is the one secret sauce that I have as a person. I do have a co-founder at Belkins, Michael, that helping me with this. So I would say that we're splitting that basically 50-50 across all the responsibilities. And the good thing about having co-founder, that there's the most single founders that struggle with all of this, basically with the one company or two or three or five, that you always have a partner that can help you with building, I don't know, this product or that product or a whole department. And we have this kind of cycles that we changing one another on certain process. For example, Michael were head of sales 2 years ago. Then he went to marketing. I went to sales to see what is going on, what there is a place for innovation, or maybe we can do something like, to not to disrupt, but bring something new with my experience
Yep.
right now. Yeah,
I love that. I mean, and obviously, in order to do anything, like that, you have to have good people, you have to have good teammates, right? So
100%.
you build a good, support system around you to allow you to focus on strategy, and then you come down and tweak things, which is really kind of
Right.
ideal. So let me ask you, what's been your secret to success there with finding the right people and bringing them on board?
You participate in all hirings from day one, and I'm still participating in key hirings, like to find middle management, any management at all, I think, and certainly C-level, and like critical people for product. For example, for some product, it can be like, I know, architecture developer, and you need to talk to the person to see if there is a culture fit, if he understands you, and basically the secret is there is no secret. A lot of CEOs delegate hiring, and I understand that, and this is the way how you can building scalable company. But if you want to build empires or something, or like building really huge holdings or a lot of companies at the same time, you need to be certain that the people that you work with will not let you down at the end, because it will be it it will be like easy to say, hard to manage, but you will end up in a whole different world when everyone's frustrated, no one like really understanding what kind of happening right now, and you're the only one person that need to solve everything. And imagine that's happening if you have like five companies with three of them, because of the mismatch or cultural mismatch, or I don't know, whatever reason is.
Yep. So let me ask you, have you found it easy to find, good help, or has that been a challenge that you've worked to overcome?
um you mean in hiring
Yeah, in
people?
hiring, yeah, finding good people.
So after all of these years, our hiring quite evolved, and from day one, when myself were like going and source candidates and see like resumes, like CVs, and basically going through the certain like interview stages and have this gut feeling that this is the right person, we kind of evolve with the more complicated process with the recruiter team on the first step. On the second step, it would be the people related to this function, and then myself. And yes, this is quite challenging to find right people, especially right now, because this is the really difficult times, and a lot of people rather to try to build something. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs and founders right now, because it's better to build something small and sustain 10 grand or 15 grand, and it would be like enough for you at this stage. Uh, but yes, answer is still yes. To find the right person, I spent, I think, 50 interviews. Like 50 interviews was the first and second stage. On my stage and the third stage, I would say at least 5, 10
Wow.
people you need to talk to understand that there is a right person. And basically, you doing this generally, you basically super straightforward, honest, and the one thing that I discovered after having thousands of conversation with people, that you need to focus on their on the people's ambitions and contribute to their goals. This is how you can win the great talents, and if they will understand that you are in for them, they will be in for you.
I like that. I've heard a lot of people like this idea of hiring somebody that they would like to hang out with, because you're going to spend so much time
Right.
in at work with them and whatnot. And so if you don't like them as a person, you wouldn't be like, oh, I'd like to hang out with this person, which I think makes a lot of sense, because on some level you like to hang out with people who are equally ambitious, people who share the same kind of goals. They're similar in some regard.
Right.
Would you say that that's something that you guys you focus on and find that to be true as well?
Yes, totally. Totally. You're basically finding people that matching you culturally, like your company's DNA, depending on what company you're building. At Belkins, we're cultivating like growth culture that we're focusing on each person growth instead of company growth. Again, if like the truth is that if people growing, like everyone's successful, everything flourishing around you, and company growing as well. But there is something else in that people feel that you just not like egoistically wanted to build a company for yourself, and like basically CEO wanted to say on like newcomers meeting that guys, we need to achieve our KPIs and everything will be fine. But that's the bullshit info for them, because they are here for their own interests, not for yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. They tend to see their employees as, kind of assets of the company, rather than individuals with their own goals. And I think that when you focus on, well, even if they're going to be there short term, like there are a lot of, especially in tech, younger people, and for their career progression, they're not going to stay there for 20 years. It doesn't make sense for them
Right.
personally. So if you're planning on them leaving after 2 or 3 years, great. Then it's, what can we do to help build you up and you know support the company at the same time, where there's that kind of win-win, instead of where so many people, especially kind of I think a lot of older business leaders tend to still think in terms of employee retention. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you don't want them running away after, hiring a bunch of people and then them leaving after 3 months because, you've got a shit culture where it's just, you're burning people out and you're not nice to them. Fine. That's where I think employee retention is important. But
Right.
in the case of, like, you're focused on helping them grow as an individual. And I think people see that, and I think that helps build a better culture.
Right. I'm like totally confirming these words. This
Well,
is the one of the ways how you can build successful companies. When like I have a quick thought that I wanted to share, that this Forbes lists about CEOs, successful CEOs like Musk, Bezos, and others. There's a lot of people behind them, but we speaking about only one.
totally agree. And that's why I like to really focus on how you build a team, because let's face it, Musk is nothing without, and Bezos and everybody. They're nobody without their team, right? They've had the great people around them, Steve Jobs. You might have a great
That
idea.
believe in them. Yeah.
Yep, but without the right team doing all of the work, there's something for building that culture that's right, where everybody can get behind it. And so a leader kind of leads them down that path, but
Yeah.
it's not about that leader. You're 100% right. It's always the team, because the leader didn't get their hands dirty most of the time. They didn't get in there and get it done. They didn't do the
Right.
work. They just
Yeah.
guided the process a little bit. So totally agree. Well, let's get back to you, the leader here.
Yeah.
Let's how can you walk us through, because I think everybody's kind of got a different path to success. And how did you get to the point where you're now running 14 companies and you've got all of this going on? What was that path like for you? You didn't wake up one day and find and just start 14 companies. So how did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, can you walk us through your story?
Yeah. Sure. Like as I said, I started this path, like the founder path, 8 years ago, almost nine. And before that, I end up into the IT industry through the like working on the basically basic position. Sorry for tautology. So basically, starting with a lead researcher, the guy who like searching some for like information, scavenging for data, grow to team leader, then head of department, then to chief data officer within the company. Then I like basically like were involved to like company life in general, working with different departments, different people, investors, helping CEO to find solutions for the certain situations. And I just like as a sponge get all the information and never say no to the opportunities. And this is like I'm being opportunistic from very beginning, that I always seeing bright future that I wanted to build or be in or participate in. And that led me to where I'm here right now. And about that time when I worked in this company, were the B2B company, that we created analytics, like not AI analytic solution. I just want to say AI, I don't know why, but analytical solution for news and media companies like BBC, Washington Post, New York Times, and others that would help them to recirculate traffic within their articles, editors-in-chief, and everything, and to be sure that they can earn money with it. Because there is a struggle in news and media industry. They don't earn any money. They basically struggle to earn any penny for all of their information they're producing. And they back then came up with a paywall. So you're reading one for $1, and then for $2, like you have a subscription or whatever. So in that company, I go through the path from very beginning, from very entry position to C-level position, and saw everything. And we also were venture baked, and I saw how the money works within the company, what we need to do, how important to do right decisions. And some period of time when I left the company, I saw that I don't want to work for some company anymore. I just wanted to build something with my values and my cultural DNA in it. And I would have more pleasure to be in that kind of environment. And this is why I always caring about ambitions, about growth, about people, because this is how I wanted all the companies treat me if I would be there in any position, So, and why 14 companies, and probably would be more, because there is no end to the ambitions. And I wanted to kind of chase for something, but just do whatever I like, whatever I want, and whatever drives me and my team and people around me.
I love it. So, so you transitioned from, into a founder. Was Belkins because it was a similar industry? So it was B2B kind of sales and marketing. And so it was kind of a natural transition because you kind of learned it with your, beforehand.
Function. Yeah. It was a function. And there is a funny story behind that. So back then, this news and media analytical company that I worked in, so we tried to find our clients like any company does. And the problem is that there is only 5,000 companies that can be your client, no more. So basically, there is nothing more you can do, only this 5,000 companies. And back then, I think a lot about that, and came up with the idea that it should be easier. For some industries, it should be easier. And I used my collected knowledge to see if we can propose some lead generation, appointment setting, acquisition process for random companies out there. We're starting to do spray and pray approach with emails, sending a lot of emails to see if there was interest. And yes, there was a lot of interest, and we had at the first few weeks around 15 calls, and we convert one client that pay us $5,500 per month back then. And I confirmed my feeling that there is a company that struggle with acquisition, a lot of them, and everyone basically hunting for clients. And it really helped me to understand that it should be easier at that company with sales and marketing. And we're starting to offer these services to different companies and help them to get more and more clients. Yeah, again, because it's easy to start service company. There is no rocket science behind it. You solve one problem for one client, you get money, and you can scale it. And I reinvested all the money to the company. And by today, we're still bootstrapping everything, no investments at all. And we always reinvesting all the money and success of each and every product to make sure that product will be more successful at the end.
I love it. Well, let's for those who aren't really familiar with the process, why don't you walk us through the process if let's say for a company that's looking for, because I think you're right. What business isn't wanting more business, right?
Right.
So how would Belkins do that? Let's say Cyberlinks, right? Great. You got a cybersecurity company. How would Belkins help a cybersecurity company that's B2B? How does Belkins work there?
Yes. Starting from scratch, finding your ideal customer profile and see what is your input data for now. What do you have right now with your CRM? Who you're working with? What is your current clients? Analyzing where would be the potential to utilize certain channels. Then polishing your value proposition to understand what is the pain points you're solving for clients, or what's the setbacks, what's the pricing, and what's the basically standard sales metrics like sales cycle, conversion rates, etc. Then we having initial steps to decide what channel we wanted to use. For example, we would use email channel. And with the email channel, we start wall infrastructure with the domains, mailboxes, making sure that you are authenticated with all the deliverability terms like SPF, DMARC, DKIM, like digital signature, domain filtration, and the standard policy frameworks to make sure that email will work for you. And your email will pass all the systems. Then we're working on the content. I have a whole department that in charge of the content, and we wanted to be sure that we're utilizing all the best practices across all of our clients to see how we can gather to get the performance from your campaigns. And after I think the setup takes 1 week. We the Monday second week we're starting our campaigns, sending emails, qualifying them, utilizing basic methodology like bound, budget, authority time need to identify the right clients, or we defined the qualification questions with you and scheduling these meetings for you. So that's in a brief, but there's a lot of technicalities in each and every step. How to find leads, how to work with email deliverability, what tools to use to send, how you technically sending emails and get to the inboxes as well. So that's in a brief.
Love it. So basically it's the entire process. So you go through whether it's you'll do the lead generation, you'll do you build the campaigns, do you send out the emails? Is it kind of the entire process done for the client? They hire you on, you go through and kind of find out what their focus is, what their value proposition is. Once you've got an idea, then you're just push button, and then Belkins runs with it.
Yeah. Plus, it's more manual. You work with our team, with the SDRs, account managers, researchers, to make sure that this will be the right companies, because we wanted to understand how we can drive ROI, actual ROI, how we can compete with the internal sales team, in-house sales team as well. What would be the metrics, what would be the goals to compete, and how we can overcome them. Because it's not just about the templates or the leads or how you send emails, it's the entire process that you involve with. And some of the use cases we have after working with more than 500 clients, all sizes, different sizes, we usually working with SMBs and enterprises, because there is plenty of things that we can be useful for, launching new product, opening new branch of the company, help them with acquisition, or help the current sales team to reach their KPIs and their goals as well.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, I think this has been really eye-opening for a lot of people. I think this is such a great idea. I know that I think you nailed it when it comes to pretty much every business, but especially SMB. everybody's constantly hunting and looking for what's next. And I think that, you know, in that search for new clients, I think, you know, for us, for instance, it's always been a matter of, you know, referral. We've only grown organically. It's been great. We have the best clients in the world. It's phenomenal, and I love it. And so for us, I think part
Right.
of the challenge for us is, do we want randos off the street, right? When the people that we do get, I guess, you know, in a way, you still get to choose them, right? I mean, they come in off the street, but you still get to choose if you're going to work with them. So,
Right.
so I think that might be a baseless concern for a lot, you know, going into, you know, kind of, you know, that outreach, you know, portion, or, you know, going and trying to find new clients that way. But having a partner like Belkins, to where they've got the experience of doing the outreach, the calling, the email. I mean, that's a lot for a small business to take on by themselves when they're, I don't know, let's say they make cookies, but let's just go with cybersecurity. It makes more sense. You know, cybersecurity company, they're
Yeah.
great at cybersecurity. They might not be great at email. You know, they might not be great at marketing. They might not be great at
Totally.
sales. And so having that sort of partnership there in what, you know, for whatever, you know, where areas where you're not strong, and going right back to the beginning, the reason you're successful is because you built a good team. Where you're not strong and can't do those things, you've got people who are. So
Right.
I like that. That's smart.
And you know, for the cybersecurity space, it's actually one of the most challenging in terms of the acquisition. I bet you know that, and in terms of cold outreach as well, like really hard to deliver because of the competition, because of the expectation of clients, and the results that you needed to achieve after a certain period of time, not instant.
Yeah, I think that part of the challenge is that it's so important to a company, and that there has to be such a high level of trust going into it. They have to trust that you're the right, you know, people for them almost before they even start talking to you. So unlike a lot where you could, you know, be selling a car, a mug, you know, you name it, whatever the service is, marketing, you know, service, like you don't have to trust them. You can just test it out. And what's the harm? Oh, we lost a few dollars in marketing. Yeah, we tried this marketing firm. Things didn't, you know, go great. Who cares? So, you know, you spent
Right.
some money, you found out that wasn't a great campaign, or they weren't a great company. With cybersecurity, you bring somebody in, they do a bad job, your whole freaking company blows up, right? You get hacked, you know, and there's all kinds
Sure.
of, they can screw everything up. So I think when it comes to that IT and cybersecurity side, you're right. It's really challenging because on top of the expectations, it's such a high trust industry, right? It's part of, you know, security and trust go hand in hand. So we've got to be extra good about building trust before we even can talk about a sale. Um,
That's the
because
beauty of it. That's the
yep,
beauty of this industry. Yeah.
yeah, it's really tough. So what are some of the industries that you guys work with that are easier than cybersecurity?
I think I would surprise you. Non-profits,
Hmm.
actually.
No kidding.
Manufacturing, like old-fashioned manufacturing. We've got this case for years. The company that developing like furniture development in Tennessee, and they basic like they building these how you would say, like the furniture for hotels, golf clubs, like doors, chairs, everything. And for my it was surprising for me that when we're starting to do emails and then ads and other channels, uh, it will show us astronomical results. Everyone responds to these emails. Everyone wants a brochure. Everyone knows about business, and everyone wants to do renovation for their whatever their like business is. And then this company evolved, and they opened another branch to do the same process of the furniture development for churches. And we reach out through the email to pastors, like to basically to fathers in churches, and they respond to emails, that was a weird vibe, but still everyone responding to emails and still very resultful.
That's funny. It's funny because we have a client that is in the furniture business in Tennessee. I was like, there's no way it's the same. And it's not. But they manufacture chairs for laboratories of all places. That's what I thought. I was like, really? You make a living doing that? That's like, it works. And it does. They do very well. And they do it primarily through trade shows and whatnot. But I can't help but think, after hearing your talk about the other furniture company, it might, I think when we wrap up, I might make an introduction and see if there's a way that you guys can work together, because
that would be nice.
I think if it made sense in other parts of furniture, it might make sense for them as well, because they've got that particular niche. I think there's other opportunities for them, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But
thank you. That would be nice.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. So, Vlad, I tell you, this has been a blast. I think I could do this all day long. But before we wrap up, can you tell everybody where they can find out more about you and your 14 companies?
LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn. And also I do have a newsletter where I'm sharing some entrepreneurship journey insights that I have and some thoughts on everything. So I can share a link with you, and you can put in the description, or
we certainly will. It'll be linked here, and people will be able to find it. That's awesome. Vlad, thanks again for coming on the show today.
Thank you, mate. Here. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Cyber Business Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.